Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Anjali. I'm good and I hope आप सब भी healthy और safe होंगे. Students, in this video we are going to cover some more properties of carbon and their compounds. So as you can see on the screen, we are going to talk about isomerism. Students, isomerism मतलब पहले चलिए डेफिनेशन की बात करते हैं. सो डेफिनेशन वाइज वी से दैट कार्बन कंपाउंड्स हैविंग द सेम मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला बट डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चरल फॉर्मूला आर कॉल्ड आइसोमर्स. इन सिंपल टर्म्स वो कार्बन कंपाउंड्स जिनके मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूलाज यानी नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स सेम होते हैं बट स्ट्रक्चर वाइज व्हेन यू डिस्प्ले देम दे हैव different structural formula. So these are called isomers. So that means अगर आपके पास दो ब्यूटेन हैं and आपने different way में उनको represent किया है in their structural formulas, both the versions are going to be called as isomers of butane. And this specific property of carbon compounds where they can have same molecular formula yet different structural formula, we call it as isomerism. So example number 1 कहता है students that we have butane. उसका chemical formula होगा C4H10 and based on that they say that it has two isomers. कौन से? One is normal butane and other one is isobutane. So normal butane means whenever you will represent carbon atoms in a form of long chain. So this long chain of carbon atom that has just 4 carbon and 10 hydrogen atom would be called as normal butane. But on the other hand, अगर हम बात करें what is isobutane? Isobutane means again it will have same carbon and hydrogen atom, but the difference is here the arrangement of atoms are going to be slightly different. So अगर आप notice करो, here we have a long chain of carbon atom where there are 3 carbon atoms, but with second carbon atom we have attached one branch of methyl group. So since एक branch attach हो गई है with the second carbon atom, we'll say that it's an isobutane. Moving on, अगर हम pentene का example ले students which has chemical formula C5H10, यहाँ पर क्या होगा students that since we have more number of carbon and hydrogen atom, we can say that pentane will have 3 isomers. So पहला is going to be just the same, that is normal pentane, where you will arrange carbon atoms in the form of long chain. Then if we talk about isopentane, here you can attach one methyl group in a form of branch to any of the carbon atoms. And then if it's about neopentane, आप क्या करेंगे? You will attach 2 methyl group in the form of branches to, let's just say, carbon second. So whenever there is just one branch, we call it as isopentane, but if there are 2 branches attached to the same carbon atom, we'll call it as neopentane. And this help us to know that butane is an alkane that has 2 isomers, that is normal one and the iso one, but pentane is one such compound or alkane compound that has 3 isomers. What are those? Normal pentane, isopentane and neopentane. Moving on, आइए अब बात कर लेते हैं about functional groups. So functional groups means the formulas or the trick by which will identify that if there is a particular compound, it belongs to which group. So definition wise हम क्या कहेंगे? An atom or a group of atom. which decides the property of carbon compound. We call them as functional group. ये कवर करने से पहले आइए एक सिंपल एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं. अगर हम बात करें इथेनॉल की, दैट हैज़ chemical formula C2H5OH. So since लास्ट में हमने कौन से एटम्स अटैच किए? वन एटम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड वन एटम ऑफ हाइड्रोजन. सो ये क्या हो गया? एक एल्कोहल हो गया. सो this group of atom, that is O and H, are the ones which are going to decide the property of this particular carbon compound, and therefore OH is the functional group of alcohols. So सबसे पहला एग्जाम्पल अगर ले हम स्टूडेंट्स, वो है हेलाइड. हेलाइड को आप हेलो ग्रुप भी कह सकते हो. इसके एग्जाम्पल्स होंगे क्लोराइड, ब्रोमाइड एक्सेट्रा. सो एवरी सिंगल टाइम जब भी आप इनका नॉमेनक्लेचर करोगे, यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट देयर नेम शुड एंड विथ एन, दैट इज ANE. सो पहले एग्जाम्पल की बात करें, वी हैव CH3Cl. सो स्टूडेंट्स, आप जब स्ट्रक्चरल फॉर्मूला ड्रॉ करोगे ऑफ CH3Cl, आप पाओगे that with each and every atom they will only share a single covalent bond. Therefore, we'll say that the name of this compound would be chloro, because it has that chloro-halo group, and then one carbon atom signifies that it's a methane. So therefore, this compound would be called as chloromethane. Moving on, इफ इट ऑल आप हेलो ग्रुप को चेंज भी कर दो, या कार्बन एटम को की क्वांटिटी और हाइड्रोजन एटम की क्वांटिटी इंक्रीज भी कर दो, आप कैसे इनका नेमिंग सिस्टम करोगे? इफ इट ऑल आपके पास है C2H5Br, सो इन दैट केस यू विल राइट इट एज ब्रोमो. देन सिंस देयर आर टू कार्बन एटम्स, यू विल नेम इट एज ईथेन. सो ये बात हो गई हेलाइड या हेलो ग्रुप की. अगर हम आगे बढ़ें और बात करें एल्कोहल्स की, हमने पहले ही पढ़ा दैट OH इज द फंक्शनल ग्रुप ऑफ एल्कोहल. वन मोर थिंग स्टूडेंट्स, हम कहेंगे दैट डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कौन सा हेलाइड हमने यूज़ किया है, लाइक जैसे Cl, तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? उस ग्रुप का, हेलाइड ग्रुप का फॉर्मूला हम कहेंगे दैट दिस बिलोंग्स टू हेलाइड ग्रुप. उसी तरीके से अगर हम एल्कोहल की बात करें, OH is their functional group, and we have to make sure that whenever we are naming these compounds that belong to alcohol group, their name should always end with OL. So हमारे पास सबसे पहले है CH3OH. OH means it is going to end with OL. And since there are just one carbon atom, we'll call it as methanol. Following that, if we have a compound that has chemical formula C2H5OH, OH, therefore it is going to end with OL. And since there are two carbon atom, we'll call it as ethanol. Moving on, अगर हम बात करें एल्डिहाइड्स की, स्टूडेंट्स, एल्डिहाइड्स का फंक्शनल ग्रुप होता है CHO, एंड एज आप स्क्रीन पर देख सकते हो, यहाँ पर there will be a double covalent bond between the carbon and the oxygen atom, and just a single covalent bond between the carbon and the hydrogen atom. तो ये तो बात हो गई फंक्शनल ग्रुप की. And every single compound that is going to belong to aldehyde group, their name is going to end with AL. So अगर हमारे पास compound है students that has chemical formula HCHO, सबसे पहले CHO, that means aldehyde, name is going to end with AL, and since there is just one carbon atom, we'll call it as methanol. Following that, if we have a compound that has chemical formula CH3CHO, 2 carbon atom, ethanol. Following that, अब बात करते हैं about carboxylic acid group. So here COOH is going to be the functional group of carboxylic acid, and every single compound belonging to this particular group will have their name ending with oic acid. For example, अगर हमारे पास है HCOOH, so therefore its name is going to be methanoic acid. Following that, if we have CH3COOH, 2 carbon atom, ethanoic acid. अब आइए last functional group की बात कर लेते हैं students. So that is ketone. So CO is the functional group of ketone and its name is going to end with ONE, या ON. So if we have a compound that has chemical formula CH3CO, CH3. So since CO है, very obvious, the name is going to end with 1, and then how many carbon atoms are there? 1, 2 and 3. Therefore, we'll name it as propanone. So depending upon which functional group is there and how many number of carbon as well as hydrogen atoms are there, we name such carbon compounds. Moving on, अब हम बात करने वाले हैं about homologous series. And students, this is going to be the last topic of this chapter where we'll talk about what is meant by homologous series. So definition wise we say that homologous series is a group of carbon compounds having similar structure, similar chemical properties, and whose successive member will differ by a CH2 group. यानी कि अगर हमारे पास 5 कार्बन कंपाउंड्स है, सो नंबर 1 जो होगा, if you will compare it with number 2, there will be a difference of 1 carbon and 2 hydrogen atom, but they are going to share similar structure as well as similar chemical properties. So अगर हम बात करें alkanes की, their journal formula is CnH2n plus 2. So students, here N actually represents the total number of carbon atom. And if you know that how many number of carbon atoms are there in any alkane compound, you can easily calculate the total number of hydrogen atom. So depending upon the number of carbon and hydrogen atom, these compounds are being named as methane. Why? Because it belongs to alkane group. So the name is going to end with ane. Following that, ethane, propane, butane, and lastly pentane. And here they have drawn the structural formula of around 3 alkane compounds. So उन्होंने क्या steps follow किया है students? They have first arranged the carbon atom. Then depending upon how many number of hydrogen atoms are there, they have represented single covalent bonds, and then to those single covalent bonds they have attached these hydrogen atoms. So students, this is the rule that you have to follow whenever you're drawing structural formula of any carbon compound. आइए अब बात करते हैं about alkenes. So alkenes will have journal formula such as CnH2n, and their name is going to end with ene. So therefore the compounds are going to be named as ethene, propene, butene and pentene. So students, यहाँ पर difference क्या होगा? If you will compare alkane with alkene, alkenes are going to have less number of hydrogen atoms as compared to that of alkane. And here they are going to have one double covalent bond between any of the carbon atoms. So if we talk about what should be the structural formula of ethene, since its molecular formula is C2H4, you will first place both the carbon atom, you will place the double covalent bond, and following that you will place the 4 hydrogen atom. Then if we talk about propene, its structural formula is C3H6. So आप क्या करोगे? You'll first place the 3 carbon atom, then depending upon your wish, you can place the double covalent bond between any of the atoms. Here they have placed the double covalent bond between carbon 1 and carbon 2. But if you want, you can place the double covalent bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3. And then depending upon valency of carbon, that is 4, you can place the hydrogen atoms. So this is the rule which you will follow while drawing structural formula of alkenes. अब आइए बात कर लेते हैं about alkynes. So students, alkynes are going to have a journal formula, that is CnH2n minus 2. Be very careful students, because there is just a slight difference in the chemical formula of alkane and alkynes. Alkane have a journal formula, that is CnH2n plus 2. But alkynes have a journal formula, and that is CnH2n minus 2. So their name is going to end with "ine". Following that, we'll have ethyne, propyne, butane, and pentine as well. So here, just a slight change. Instead of a double covalent bond, here the carbon atoms are going to share a triple covalent bond. And then you can place the hydrogen atoms depending upon what is the valency of carbon. If it is 4, then you can place or attach the hydrogen atom with the other ones. If not, then you can simply fulfill the valency of carbon atoms. So students, this was it about the carbon, like the properties of carbon and its compounds. I hope ये lessons आपके लिए काफ़ी helpful रहे हों. And हम अपने next video में students पढ़ने वाले हैं about acids